Okay, probably more important than the lambdas file is being able to do Monte Carlo runs on MaxEnt. We can go to Wizards and do Monte Carlo MaxEnt. And here, again, I'm going to add my covariate layers. Click OK. And now I've got my dialog again to set up the Monte Carlo run. I'm going to put in 3. Of course, when you do this for real, you'd want to do like 100, but that's going to take a really long time. Again, you could output each iteration's inputs. That's going to take quite a while. So I'm going to not check that, and it'll take up a lot of disk space. You can also send the standard deviation map. So this would be the average, or the standard deviation of all the maps would be created. You send that directly to the scene. But I'm going to go ahead and run it into STtemp, put everything there, and I'll show you how to get to it. We could do occurrence noise injection, but especially at large extents like this, more likely that we would go ahead and do injection into the covariates, because at large spatial extents, the GPS coordinates are going to be relatively accurate compared to the covariates. And I believe bioclimate is documented at being plus minus 10 units, remembering that this is temperature in degrees C times 10, but I think each of them is documented at this in a uniform distribution. You could do raster noise as well, and we can do validation. MaxEnt does validation internally, but we don't have access to see that or to run uncertainty maps with that, so you could also do validation. I tend to do each of these independently on what makes sense, and then do one run where I combine them all. I've got it set up with MaxEnt. I want to up my regularization parameter to 5, might even go higher than that. Don't really have to worry about doing jackknives because I'm really doing this for an uncertainty metric. I am going to make MaxEnt visible so I can see it, and I'm going to leave all the features on. Again, folks tend to either increase the regularization parameter or reduce the features that are available to smooth out the response curves. I would do one or the other, harder to interpret when you do both. Both of them will reduce the number of estimated coefficients. Alright, that's all we have to do, and then we click OK, and it is going to run for a while. And here's MaxEnt running, increasing the gain for each one, putting it together. Now we're running another model. User interface bops up and down quite a bit. And again, it'll run this 3 times. You'll want to run it quite a bit more, so I would tend to just run it, walk away, and go do something else for a while, or let it run overnight. And when it's done, we get a HTML page similar to the one from the Hemi Monte Carlo run. I should note that the covariates are 0 and 1. These numbers will be used later on. Those correspond to temperature and annual precip in this case. So 0 is temp, annual precip is 1, and we just need to remember that. Here's our mean habitat map. Here's our uncertainty map. Interesting, we can see that this is a little different from what Hemi does. The uncertainty is more in the areas of, well, not necessarily high habitat suitability, but it's more variable than what we saw with Hemi, which is interesting. And then the min-max maps, here's our ROC curve, which looks very stable with an AUC of 0.93. These are not normal yet because there's only 3 runs, so you definitely want to do more and they should become normal. Here's the results for each of our different iterations, and again you can see the AIC and AUC values mean very consistent, bounce around a little bit. And our curves, which should flatten out again if you do 100, they're bouncing around a lot now. And that's it. Now if we go to the folder that we ran this in, you'll also see that we have each iteration, and then here we have the one, we have the histograms. I should mention that because these can be placed directly in reports from these ping files if you wish. And then we should have, yep, here we go. Here's our standard deviation raster. Now this is the one that's used inside the web. It is going to be lower resolution, particularly as you increase the resolution of your model, than the TIFF file. The TIFF file is going to be the one that you probably want to bring into ARC or your favorite JS package and use it to create your final maps for your reports. that's it.